Hello, my name is Brittany Deigh. I am a psychic medium and spiritual teacher. My divine purpose is to assist in the expansion of the collective consciousness and to help you become more connected with the divine. This is a space to remember all that you truly are and ignite the possibilities of your highest potential. So, hello. Welcome back to another episode of the Addicted Household Recovery. This episode is actually really near and dear to my heart. It's kind of following up the Bullshit Amends episode, so go check that one out. Spiritual bypassing is really near and dear to my heart, and I think it's because as a spiritual warrior, as someone who really and truly does the work, goes in the depths, and does everything that they do their best to put their ego to the side and allow God to move through them and allow God to show them, you know, it's really challenging whenever you hear people use real, true spiritual truths as a way to avoid true psychological and emotional issues. Like, dude, bypassing is just, it's so detrimental to your spiritual growth, to the spiritual community as a whole, I feel, to our collective, that I feel so passionately about. Like, I already have a whole episode in my previous, on my podcast in the very beginning episodes. It's one of my first episodes whenever I started my podcast years ago. But I wanted to do one with the Addicted Household Recovery series because it's such a big part of recovery. People bypass the actual experience of recovery with spiritual, real, true spiritual truths, but they use them as a means to navigate around true healing, true psychological and emotional issues. And, you know, I experienced this the first time that I really in-depth experienced this was when I was dating this guy. He was in recovery in AA, and he just, talk about a narcissist. He literally would twist every spiritual truth that I brought to the table. He would somehow twist and turn it on why it's actually my fault and why he doesn't actually have to abide by that because this, and this. And it was always some spiritual truth. And I spent months in confusion. That relationship actually sent me straight to therapy. I was with him for 3 months and I got into such a fucking mindfuckery that the first thing I did when I got out of that relationship was found a therapist. Within 2 weeks, I manifested my beautiful therapist who I love, who I've been with for almost 3 years now. And she's amazing. But that relationship sent me straight to therapy. It was psychological and emotional abuse. And it was always in the name of some spiritual truth. And it's and then I recently just experienced this with my quote unquote best friend, my previous best friend, where I was trying to address these issues in our relationship. And she'd been gaslighting me for over a year. And I was like, listen, I can't go on like this anymore. I'm in denial that my best friend's treating me this way. You're in denial about this. Every time I try and address this, you gaslight me. You're in denial about this thing. I'm in denial that you're gaslighting me. We need to actually and fully address this. And then it was kind of breezed over addressed. It was yeah, you're right. I did gaslight you there. I see how I did, da-da-da-da. And then it was it went right back to the same behavior. And I'm and then after 2 months, I'm dude, she's full blown gaslighting me again. No, you don't get to belittle me. You don't get to gaslight me. And this needs to be addressed. We have to work on this. And then, whenever I really was listen, I either need to step out of this relationship or this is just not working for me. This is not. And what she said to me was that She wants to be present. She wants to be, I just want to have fun with my friends, be present, enjoy this present moment, enjoy my life. I don't want to deal with all this. I don't want to go into all of this. Oh, that's really convenient. You just project on me and belittle me for the last 2 years. And whenever I address it, you just want to be present. That's what you want to do. It's hilarious to me. Like, it is so funny to me because being present with your now moment is a true spiritual truth. That is such an important part of this reality. It is so important to be as present as you can and to really receive the magic and the miracles that the present moment has for you. But can you truly be present whenever you're stuffing down all of this emotional baggage that's causing a filter on your whole experience and what you're really saying and what you're really doing? You're not in your truth at all because you just keep suppressing and keep stuffing down. Are you actually present? Are you actually enjoying your life? Or are you just completely lying to yourself? Because I'm pretty sure you're lying to yourself. How is it possible? It's like, I want to be able to whack you on the head, right? And then whenever you say something about it, I want to just be present. Why are you talking about that when I whacked you on the head? That was yesterday. I want to be present with now and today and enjoy life today. Wow. I don't want to talk about that when I whacked you on the head yesterday. What the fuck? So what? You can just keep whacking me on the fucking top of the head and I'll just have all of these bruises and bumps on my head and we'll just keep being present? Like, it's just amazing to me. Oh my God, it's amazing to me. I can't even wrap my head around how that's really possible to convince yourself that you're just being present. And it's funny because I received this from my best friend and then I also just received this from some other close people in my life. And I'm just like, wow, you really think it was the same exact thing. I just want to be present. I don't want to go back there. I don't want to live there. I don't want to deal with that. Oh, okay, so you can just belittle me and literally hurt me, betray me, steal from me, do all these things. But whenever I want to address it, you just want to be present in the present day because your life right now is so great and so good that you just want to be present. Okay then. Well, I don't know if I want to participate in that. Because it's so convenient. It's so convenient for you to benefit from my disempowerment. And the moment that I step up and say, hey, you're literally whacking me on the top of the head. I don't want to talk about that happened yesterday. I just want to be present with today. Okay, so does that mean that I have to literally call you out in the exact moment that you whack me on the head, even if I don't realize that I'm getting whacked on the head in that moment? Like, what? What a psychological and emotional detour. And honestly, guys, spiritual bypassing will completely derail your entire recovery. Like, I know that I'm laughing about this because I'm healing, but like on a very serious note, you are not doing yourself, your family, your children, the people around you, you are not doing anyone a favor by bypassing your true healing, true psychological and mental issues and traumas by saying that you want to be present, by saying that this is all bigger than me anyways. God is the one who has control. It's like there's so many things that can be used as true spiritual truths as a means to get around or attempt to get around and jump over true psychological and emotional issues. And you're really not serving yourself. You're not serving the future generations. You're not serving the collective. You're really actually causing damage because you're pretending like real psychological and emotional issues don't actually need to be addressed. You don't actually have to be accountable to those things because God exists. And as a spiritual teacher, as a spiritual mentor, it really works me up and I get really triggered because I'm like, stop using spirit as your out from the human experience. The human experience is just as real as this spiritual experience. You're in a human body, you're on earth, that means you have a brain, that means you have emotions, that means you have to deal with them. Period. And here's the thing is that people may rebuttal and say, no, I don't. I can suppress them. I can push them aside. Yeah, and they'll come cycling back around and around and around and around and again. Talk about wanting to let it go. If you don't actually deal with it, you're not actually ever going to let it go. It's going to cycle back, whether it's through this person or this job or if you want to spend your entire life suppressing, not dealing with the true issue at hand, not dealing with the mental and emotional issues in your human experience, then what's going to happen is that it's all going to get bottled up in your body. And every time it comes up, even if you push it back down again, you're going to deal with a lot of physical ailments, right? And then you're going to die. And then guess what? You're going to come back to earth dealing with all the same shit all over again and even more in that next lifetime because you're going to have all of the shit from your previous lifetime that you still have to deal with. And then you're going to have trials and tribulations of that human experience. So to me, I'm like, what are you really getting out of by using a spiritual truth, being present, or this is really and truly in God's hands, or whatever it is? What are you really getting out of that other than lying to yourself and denial? And that's not recovery. Like, that's just not recovery. Recovery is about being honest. It's about being authentic and real and raw and fucking true. It's about allowing your soul to speak. And if you want to completely bypass and you're going to derail, your soul will break inside because it knows that it's trying to bypass its human experience and you can't. It's not possible. You can try all you want, but it's going to come bursting out in different ways, whether that's physical ailments, whether that's it's cycling back through other people or in the next, no matter what, you can try and tell yourself that you can suppress it and move on with your life. And I don't really have to deal with that. And I can just be present and God has it all and I'll just pray and everything will work out. You can say that to yourself, but it'll just keep coming around and biting you in the fucking tail and biting you in the fucking tail. One again and again and again and again. And if you want to live in that perpetual reality of constantly being in fear of when this is going to bite you in the tail again, I guess that's your free will and that's your choice. It just genuinely doesn't make sense to me. And I don't understand why use spiritual truths as your means to bypass. Why not just say, I'd rather live in denial. I'd rather I'd rather just live in misery. Like that just seems easier to me. Okay, that's cool, but let's not use spirit and spiritual truths as a means to feed your denial. That's where I have a problem. As a teacher and as a leader, that's where my jiggy gets up. So please, I ask you kindly, deal with your human experience. Deal with your psychological and emotional experience because you can't escape it. You are a human, I promise. If you're listening to this and you think you're on Earth right now, you're a human. Deal with it. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that you enjoyed that episode. Please subscribe, leave a review. And if this was impactful for you at all, please share it with others. This is how we can help each other. Much love and namaste.